very much in favor of the counting of points.
Does it work for you? No.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Run Through, your favorite figure skating podcast where we talk about all the things that make us kiss and make us cry. I am your host, Adam Rippon, and today I am by myself. Sarah Hughes, not Olympic champion, still missing in complete action. And Ashley Wagner is currently working in the country of Iceland, which is famously not where she's from. So Ashley is working, and Sarah is missing. Everybody kind of keep your eyes peeled for that gal. Haven't seen her in a while, sort of not by choice, but by design flaw. And with Ashley being away, we were trying to find a way to record this episode together, but it wasn't in the cards. So you will have to deal with me solo. One thing we do on this podcast is we do kind of promise you the world, and then we famously underdeliver, which really is a bad business strategy, but it is sort of a great podcast strategy for us. And I know that everybody's going, well, why did you promise something that you almost were certain you couldn't follow through on? Of course, I am referring to doing a quiz and doing a draft this week. And the reason is I like to keep everyone on their tippy toes, including myself, because sometimes if I follow through with something, that could be scary. And I don't want to scare anyone, so I thought, wouldn't it just be great if Ashley went to Iceland, which I am excited that she's there. She's teaching in Iceland, which is, it's far, pretty far from here. I think it's good for the Icelandic people to have Ashley Wagner coaching over there, because they don't really have anyone that qualified for the Grand Prix final, which is gonna happen. It's gonna happen quite soon. There have been some changes, some withdrawals. Adam Siohimfa, he is out of the Grand Prix final, and Mikhail Shidorov, our shining Chinese star from Kazakhstan, is now going to be at the Grand Prix final. I also saw, this is hot off the press, that Deanna Stellato-Dudek and Max Deschamps will not be competing at the Grand Prix final. And when I say hot off the press, I mean I read it on Instagram about 3 hours ago. So that is fresh news. And when I did see this, I saw it on the platform of Instagram. And when I read this, there was one comment that stuck out to me. Now, the caption was that Max is recovering from an illness and they will need to withdraw. Now, a comment that stuck out to me, when the caption mentioned that Max was sick, the comment said, "She is very old." And I haven't been able to stop thinking about that specific comment, because the caption, I do want to remind you, and I'm going to press this into your memory, that the caption mentioned that Max was sick, but the comment said that she was very old. And that did, in a way, tickle me. Moving on, in an effort to put together the best absolute podcast I can, because God damn it, the show must go on, I was going to do some research for it. Probably for the first time ever. For the first time ever, I was doing research for the show. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to really just make sure I knew who was going to be at the Grand Prix final. Which is leading me to my first topic, which has nothing to do with the Grand Prix final and everything to do with the internet, the World Wide Web website, isu-skating.com, which is new. Now, that might not seem like big news to you, but to me, this is huge. This is monumental. The old International Skating Union website was famously www.isu.org. Org, short form for organization. Now, what is missing in the new isu-skating.com website? Organization. It is a complete disorganized fucking mess. I don't know who is in charge of the new skating website, but it does feel like a bunch of Swiss toddlers are doing this from an iPad. Something's not right, you guys. And I'm nervous and I'm scared because something is just not right. I don't know. Do they just not have Squarespace in Switzerland, or are they over there trying to use Wix? I don't know. But I don't know if any of you have ever tried to create your own website, or maybe you have created your own website. But on Squarespace, it's quite easy. And you can make something very custom and very beautiful and not overly complicated, and it will always work. Now, I don't know what they're doing. Like I said, I don't know what's happening in Switzerland. I'm not there. Ashley's even closer to there. So maybe she, on the next episode of The Run Through, your favorite figure skating podcast, will have a greater insight into how they create and formulate websites in Europe. But I can tell you here in the United States, we do it with, how do I say this? Thought. Now, when I talk about this website, I'm going to talk about some of the things that maybe these are my fault, like the lagging of pushing on a button. It's not moving fast enough. What happened? Why are they not .org? Why have they transitioned to .com? I think we should get some answers on that. I think we should maybe Phil Hirsch could do sort of expose on that. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I'd rather drop dead than put a dash in my web page. So I'm going to give you my complete unbiased opinion on how a webmaster, I'm going to tell you something. Whoever did this website is not a webmaster. They're a web amateur because it doesn't work. Because there will be no draft, I am going to give my honest critique of this website. But further than that, I'm going to go through the entries and I'm going to read you some of the bios. Now, a lot of these skaters, I'm going to say this because I've gone through all the headshots already because I'm fascinated. I am absolutely fascinated. I'm looking at Kevin Amos, Daniel Grossel. I'm looking at everyone. Now, Kevin Amos, they cut the top of his head off of the headshot in the thumbnail. Daniel Grossel, that's a nice headshot. Yuma Kageyama, head off. Shun Sato, quarter of the head off. Mikhail Shidorov, he's an international competitor. Hello? No headshot. Like, this isn't some run-of-the-mill first time competing at the Santa Claus Open. This is Mikhail Shidorov. He just got second at a Grand Prix event, and he's the first skater to land a triple quadruple jump, and you don't have one headshot? Not even a still from a video you could slap in here? Ilya Malinin, this headshot is from... If it were any younger, it would be an ultrasound photo. Before we go into the bios, actually, this is an open call to the skaters. Skaters, I think that you're in charge of submitting your own headshot, okay? Now, there's a difference between what I would consider credential appropriate and headshot appropriate. Now, when I'm saying headshot appropriate, if you ever have the time, which I know a lot of you have lives or jobs or families, and you don't have the time that I'm setting aside for this right now. And so I say to you, let me be your guide. When we're thinking headshot, and I'm looking stylistically what's happening here, I'm going to say this. Shun Sato has the best passport-looking photo, and Kevin Amos has the best headshot-looking photo. But Daniel Grossel's is the most centered photo. Yuma Kageyama, this is a beautiful school photo. Next, I need to go into the profile of each skater. And I'm not going to read each one out loud and you're going to look at your watch and go, I don't have time for this. I know. All right? I'm just going to give you the notable things and things that I think we could change. Now, you might be thinking, Well, that's just the thumbnail of the photo. No, it gets worse because when I click on, let's say Kevin Amos, when I click on his profile, not only is his head still cut off, it's cut off more, but they also show more of his chest. So it's completely uncentered. Now I'm speaking directly to the webmaster, to the person who does this website. Wake up! You don't need to do every headshot, but there's only 6 skaters at the Grand Prix final, and they're the best 6 in the entire world. Maybe clean this up a little bit. Let me tell you something. As somebody who was an athlete as their profession, a full-time athlete even, you don't have any hobbies, and that's what you'll also discover if you go through these. Kevin Amos, his hobby, drinking coffee. Don't exhaust yourself. Now, I clicked on the back, right? The back button to go back to the entries of the men at the Grand Prix final. I go back, and what does the website do? It says, no entries published yet. That's interesting. I had just seen them. I think it's important we go over a few of the hobbies. Daniel Grossel. Okay, let's do a quiz. Let's do a quiz, everyone. All right? Your first question. What is one of the hobbies of Italian skater Daniel Grossel? If you said TV series, you'd be correct. And another hobby? Friends. Now, I do hate to break it to kind of anyone out there, but I don't think Friends are a hobby. Let's just cut our losses with asking these athletes to list a hobby. It's not ever going to be pretty. Let's look at the women competing at the Grand Prix final. We have Mona Chiba, Wakaba Higuchi, Rino Matsuke, Kaori Sakamoto, Hana Yoshida, and Amber Glenn. Who has the best headshot? The best headshot has to go for me, Rino Matsuke. I like the way that her thumbnail looks. Her whole head is in it. Amber Glenn, she's from the eyebrows down. Hana Yoshida, brainless. They cut that head straight off. Kaori Sakamoto, stylistically, I'm going to say it, this is a beautiful headshot. They cut her head off. Wakaba Higuchi and Mona Chiba, this was taken from about 3 feet above their head in a dimly lit hallway. This was for a credential. I'm sure of it. Mona Chiba, she looks like she is a business tycoon. She's wearing a tie, and Rino Matsuke looks like she is going to sell you a beautiful townhouse in downtown Glendale, California. They're brand new high and low rises in the low 700s. And she's going to get you a good deal on it. And she's going to talk down the HOA, and she's going to show you where the escrow office is, because she looks like a real estate agent. And I'm going to be honest, I would buy a house or sell a home from her, or I could find a good apartment in Lakewood or in Long Beach. She would know where that is. And she does know where it is because she is a real estate broker. She does commercial, she does residential, she does it all, and she does it at the Grand Prix final. And she doesn't miss, truly doesn't miss. Kaori Sakamoto, this headshot, this is my favorite one stylistically. This looks like an athlete headshot. It looks really high quality. I'm really upset that they couldn't center her. She's the world champion. Not only is she the world champion, she's a multiple time over world champion. And the person formatting the website didn't take the time to just edit the positioning of this photo in the thumbnail. I know it's not difficult because I know how to use Squarespace.com. I'm just giving out some tips for free. Because Mona Chiba is a nice girl, and you cut off her entire head. This is a professional website. This is like, you're an Olympic organization. Mona Chiba, her hobbies. Let's go right into the hobbies. Embroidery. Not shocking at all. I've seen her try to shake those shoulders, and they look like the shoulders of someone who does embroidery. She's 156 centimeters, and her other hobby is bedrock bath. Wakaba Higuchi. Now, her profession is full-time athlete. I like that. Wakaba Higuchi has the hobbies of shopping and watching movies. Now, that's a good time girl. Now we're getting to some hobbies I can get behind. Now, this is something I really want everyone to know. The hobby of Rino Matsuke, watching drama. Me too, honey. Watching drama. Kaori Sakamoto. Again, this photo is beautiful. I can tell that it's high resolution, and I can also tell that they didn't center it again on her profile. It's really bothering me. The other thing that's bothering me is her hobby is drive. Not driving, just drive. I am going to say I do believe that there's most likely something that's like lost in translation. Maybe help her out a little bit. Her hobbies, if it drive, let's do some critical thinking over there in Switzerland and go, probably she means driving. Nobody's hobby is drive. Just like nobody's hobby, Daniel Grossel, should be friends. Hana Yoshida. Okay, now this is worth noting. This is a good bio, by the way. Very clean, very professional. Profession. University student. I like the way that looks. Now, I'm not talking about what it means or anything. I don't care what she's studying. It just looks good at that university student as profession. And I like this photo. Again, this is a beautiful photo. Poorly cut. Now, and she has nothing to do with this. Again, I am speaking directly to the webmaster. What's going on over there? Is this being done by somebody that can't see well or at all? Hana's hobbies: visiting historical sites and cafe hopping. Now, those are hobbies. Let's go right to the pairs. Now, they did something that I understand, but I don't recognize. They have taken the headshot of each pair individually. Now, I think that they should have put them side by side or something or whatever. Stylistically, I would have done something different. Now, I'm going to say this before I even get started. The Italians, everybody's head is in the center. They sent full resolution, beautiful photos. They look like credential photos, but they all match, and because they are in alphabetical order according to country, there's 4 beautiful Italian people in a row, and I think that's fantastic. Minerva has one of the most beautiful headshots that we've seen so far. And who did they do the dirtiest? Danny O'Shea and Ellie Cam. When they formatted this page, they said, I'm going to make you absolutely forget that Danny O'Shea is bald. And I'll actually take it a step further, and I'll make sure that you forget that he has eyes, because they took those out of the photo. And they said, well, it's not fair if her partner has no eyes, so we should take her eyes away as well, Ellie Cam. They edited her eyes out, not just the top of her head, not just like scalped her. They cut that girl's head in half. This is a photo of them together, right? Like whomever submitted this. Now, I don't know if it's US Figure Skating. I don't know if it was Ellie, Cam, and Danny O'Shea themselves. Oh my God. I click. Oh, not only have they cut her whole head out of the photo, it's grainy. Danny O'Shea. How about One Eye O'Shea? Because they cut out his whole head. He looks like Jack Sparrow. Oh boy, Danny O'Shea, hobbies. Building things with Legos. Ugh, tough. Now I need to see Minerva's photo. Now again, it's gorgeous. I would center her face a bit more. It's not that difficult. It's really not that difficult. Okay, now I am in the bios of Sarah Conti and Niccolo Macci. Now, I'm not going to be talking about the skaters because that's what you would kind of expect me to do. I'm going to be talking about the formatting. of what I'm seeing now. They've done enough events this year to have their short program music listed. They've decided to not put it in the bio. Oh, God. When it comes to music free skating, free dance as of season 2024-25, that's not English, okay? And I'm not saying that as some sort of rude American of speaking English. I'm saying it as somebody who's reading a website that's in English that you didn't put it in English. Music free skating? No. Why don't you have the title of music and then put free skating or music 2024/2025 free skating? Now, does it make sense? Because in the title, first of all the fonts are all over the place. Music free skating. You have that titled out. You have M, F, and S. Music free skating. All three capitalized. That's correct, right? Then you have space/space free dance, both capitalized, as of season. Now, that should have been some sort of like italicized or in brackets, right? The way that you've written that out, as of season, all in lowercase. Huh? And then again, 2024/2025. It would look better if you did 2024/25, right? You don't need the 20 before that. And then we get to scores. Skaters' bests. There's 3 S's in that. Why don't you just put personal bests? Skaters' bests. It's not really rolling off the tongue. Everything else is fine. Competition results. That's better. That looks better. Did anybody go through this website before they published it? I think it would have just been worth it to stay on the old one, on the .org. Why did we have to rush over here? It's impossible. Let me tell you something else. It is impossible. All I want to see is the calendar of events. But I have to put in what season, what kind of competition. Do I want the details? No, just somebody did this wrong. Let's go to the ice dance. Now, let's see. I am going to look at the headshots first. Now, to no surprise, Madison Chalk, Evan Bates, they have given them the worst ones. They're the reigning world champions. You zoomed in on Madison Chalk, and then you cut off her head, and then you zoomed out, and you made Evan's head look like a tiny little airline peanut side dish. No fault of his own. When I'm seeing these headshots, I am thinking Charlene and Marco, they have the nicest ones. These are centered shots. These are beautiful headshots. Listen, we all know Lila Fear. She's the only ice dancer in this event who won both her Grand Prix. And I know Lila, and if Lila knew that this was the headshot, she would give a headshot. Because she is giving a credential photo here. Nobody's alerting these people, and nobody is... I'm clicking on the profile. This is a beautiful photo. But it's a credential photo. Lila Fear, hobbies, chatting with strangers. Interesting. Lewis Gibson, hobbies, tanning. When I was competing, one of my hobbies was tanning too. Maybe that'll be good luck for him. Actually, he doesn't need good luck. He's had a much better career than I've ever could have dreamed of. Lepreva and Brousseau, these are nice headshots. Yevgenia, they cut that girl's red hair right off. But Jeffrey, they said, we owe you some dignity, and we're going to give you a nice photo. Oh, and hers is grainy when I'm clicking on it. And his is clear. Jeffrey Brousseau's beautiful, stunning headshot. And then you click on Yevgenia Lepreva. This is from a webcam. And somebody did her so dirty. Oh my God, this is probably why. Her hobbies, existential crises. Did anybody read that? Marjorie Lajoie and Zachary Legas, beautiful headshots. Marjorie, this is a beautiful credential photo, right? This isn't a headshot. This is a credential photo. Zachary Legat, they did take that. He was standing in one room and somebody was standing in another. It's so far away. It's almost a full body photo. But Marjorie's is beautiful. Now I'm in the profile. Zachary's is... See, now, this is the thing. Zachary's is nice. But everyone's is their head. And he's all the way past his pectoral muscles. So something's sort of not lining up. One of Marjorie's hobbies is learning and reading and diversity and inclusion as a hobby. That is quite the hobby. I cannot skip Charlene and Marco. First of all, Charlene's photo is beautiful, is what I'm trying to get at. But there's a warmness to it where, by all other accounts, this would be a passport. But there's a tilt to the head and an off to the white of the background that really hits home that this is a beautiful head shot. The quality is beautiful. I click onto Marco. They could have zoomed out a little bit. Charlene, one of her hobbies is animals. Just animals and reading and friends. Oh, I did not know she was born in France. Now, let's go to Madison Chalk and Evan Bates. Madison, oh my God. I'm so deeply sorry because for someone so beautiful, they made her photo so blurry. And I don't like that. Now, hobbies, again, like these are good hobbies. There's nothing wrong with the hobbies, I'm going to say. Her hobbies are drawing, painting, reading, and playing with her dog. Nothing's wrong with those hobbies. Let's just scrap them. We don't need to see everybody's hobbies. And playing with her dog, they capitalized every single word in that. Playing with her dog, it's not the name of a dissertation. You don't need to capitalize every word in that. It doesn't make any sense. I believe that we need, as Americans, the Department of Education. But I'm now thinking whomever formatted this also needs disciplinary action. A court summons. Now, Evan Bates, now this is sort of unacceptable. Grainy, blurry photo, and he's all the way out to the side. There's half of his headshot that is white background. Half of it. This looks AI done. And I think that it should be HUMAN done. Because this isn't done well. Okay, I do like this. Now, Paul, this is a gorgeous... Piper and Paul are both beautiful. But they cut off the top of Paul's hair. What was wrong with his hair? There's nothing wrong with his hair. Now, Piper, I like Piper's headshot a lot. Now, this is a good headshot because the background is black, so it's definitely not going to give passport. But they have her just kind of in the little corner of her own headshot. Center her. Put some respect on Piper Gillis. One of her hobbies is playing the flute. All right? In her free time, she plays the flute. I don't know. Actually, I don't know if she does. Maybe it's just a hobby that she does once in a while. But you took that information and you cropped her to the side of her own profile picture. And I won't have it. Somebody needs to get in with the coding and fix this website. Now, before we go, now this has truly been a mess of a website. Contact us. Let's go there. I'm looking for some sort of clue that might reveal who put the website together, because I'm going to say it. They shouldn't have more work. Again, there's just so many things that are like bad about this. For instance, if you go to like in the corner, the right-hand corner, and I click on that, it has a list of pages that I can click on. Home of skating, figure skating, synchronized skating, speed skating, short track. Now I'm going to say right off the bat, it should just say home. Not home of skating. What? Now, before I were to click on it, I hover over it, and the text home of skating appears. Home, capitalized, of skating, all in lowercase. Let's go down to figure skating. Figure skating. F capitalized, skating, lowercase. Synchronized skating, all lowercase. Speed skating, all lowercase. Short track, all lowercase. Inside ISU. It's inside ISU, all capitalized, quote. Just one. At the end. Just right at the end. I'm sure putting a website together can induce a bit of ennui. And it can make someone feel like they just want to get it done. But I, for one, am kind of a stickler for details and quality. It is not good. Now, contact us. What do you think it says right before there's a form? It says, fill the form. What? Why is a text of what I'm hovering over appearing? That shouldn't happen. This is done on some... I'm going to say this to the ISU. Whomever you paid to do this website, they got you, girl. They pulled a fast one on you because this is not done well. They dazzled you with giant photos. They really got you, and they didn't do anything right. Now, join our community again at the end. Latest ISU news and offers. What are you offering? Black Friday discount on what? This is like to get information. This is truly horrendous. Anyway, I wish all the skaters at the Grand Prix final more success than the webmaster of the isu-skating.com website, which that really rolls off the fucking tongue. I wish you all the best, and I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. And I hope we all have a great Grand Prix. It's been absolutely a pleasure to host another solo episode. Until next time, I'm Adam Rippon, and this was The Run Through.